It was just another normal day, nothing unusual, nothing out of place. The kind of day you don't even remember by the time it ends. People were going to work, checking their phones, grabbing coffee, stuck in traffic, living their routine like they always do. But here's the thing. Sometimes the most terrifying stories don't start with chaos. They start with complete normality, and by the time anyone realizes something is wrong, it's already too late. Imagine walking through your usual path, hearing the same sounds, seeing the same faces, and then suddenly something feels off. Not loud, not obvious, just wrong. That small feeling in your gut that most people ignore. But what if that feeling was actually trying to warn you? Before we go deeper into this story, take a quick second to hit like and subscribe to The Dark Brief. Because stories like this don't just entertain, they make you look at the world differently. It started in a quiet neighborhood, nothing special about it. The kind of place where everyone believes they're safe, where doors are locked out of habit, not fear, where nothing bad ever really happens. At least that's what everyone thought. That morning felt normal for Daniel. He woke up late, rushed through breakfast, grabbed his keys, and stepped outside. The air felt calm. Too calm, if you ask him now. But back then, it didn't mean anything. As he walked down the street, something small caught his attention. A car parked on the side of the road. Not unusual, except he didn't recognize it. In a place like that, you notice unfamiliar things. But again, he brushed it off. People have visitors. Delivery drivers come and go. It meant nothing, or at least, that's what he told himself. He kept walking. A few steps later, he noticed something else. A man standing near the corner, just standing there. Not on his phone, not talking to anyone, just watching. Now here's the strange part. Daniel made eye contact with him for just a second, and in that moment, something felt wrong. Not threatening in an obvious way, but unsettling. Like his brain was trying to process something it couldn't fully understand. Still, Daniel kept walking. Because that's what we all do, right? We ignore the feeling. We convince ourselves we're overthinking. He reached the bus stop. A few people were already there. Everything looked normal again. Conversations, scrolling phones, someone laughing quietly. That strange feeling faded, almost like it never happened. But it had. Minutes passed. The bus arrived. People got on. Daniel took his usual seat by the window. He glanced outside, and for a split second, he saw that same man again, standing across the street, watching the bus, watching him. This time the feeling didn't go away. Daniel turned his head quickly, pretending he didn't notice. His heart rate started to rise. That quiet instinct inside him was getting louder now. Something wasn't right. But again, no one else reacted. No one else seemed to notice anything strange. So he stayed quiet. The bus started moving, slowly at first, then picking up speed. Daniel kept looking forward, trying to calm himself down. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe he was just tired. But then, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He hesitated, then opened the message. Wrong place. That was it. 2 words. No context, no explanation, just wrong place. Daniel felt a cold wave run through his body. He looked around the bus. Everyone looked normal. No one seemed suspicious. No one was watching him. But someone had sent that message. Someone knew where he was. He tried to ignore it, locked his phone, took a deep breath, and then it buzzed again. Another message. You weren't supposed to see me. At this point, Daniel couldn't ignore it anymore. His hands started shaking slightly. He quickly looked out the window again. The street behind the bus was empty. No sign of that man, no sign of anything unusual. But somehow, it felt worse. Because now, it wasn't just a strange feeling. It was real. He got off at the next stop earlier than usual. He didn't even think about it. His body just reacted. He needed to get out. As the bus drove away, he stood there alone. The street felt quieter than it should, almost like the world had suddenly pulled back. He checked his phone again. No new messages. For a moment, he thought maybe it was over. Maybe whoever sent those messages was just messing with him. But then, a car slowly turned the corner. The same car he had seen earlier. It stopped, right in front of him. The window rolled down, and there was no one inside. The driver's seat, empty. Daniel froze. His mind struggled to process what he was seeing. A car, just sitting there, engine running, but no driver. And then the passenger door slowly opened. No one stepped out, just an empty seat, waiting. At this point, every instinct in his body was screaming at him to run, and this time, he listened. He turned and ran as fast as he could, didn't look back, didn't think, just ran. His heart was pounding so loud he could barely hear anything else. His breaths became heavy. His vision blurred slightly. After what felt like forever, he finally stopped. He looked around. Different street, different houses, no car, no man, nothing. Just silence. He tried to calm himself down, leaned against a wall, took deep breaths. Maybe I'm losing it, he whispered to himself. But deep down, he knew. Something had targeted him, and he had no idea why. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone again. One last message, sent just seconds ago. You left too early. Daniel stared at the screen, and in that moment, something inside him changed. Because this wasn't random, this wasn't a coincidence. This was planned. Someone, somewhere, had expected him to stay, and whatever was supposed to happen next, he had just escaped it. But here's the terrifying part. What if he hadn't? What if he ignored that feeling like we all do? What if he stayed on that bus just a little longer? We'll never know exactly what was waiting for him, but sometimes not knowing is worse, because it leaves your mind to imagine the possibilities, and those possibilities are far more terrifying than the truth. The next day, the neighborhood looked exactly the same. Same streets, same houses, same routine, but Daniel wasn't the same. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was still out there, watching, waiting, and maybe, just maybe, it hadn't given up on him yet. So now I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a moment like that? A feeling you couldn't explain? A situation that didn't make sense, but you ignored it anyway? Because after hearing this, you might not ignore it next time. And if you made it this far, drop a comment telling me what you think really happened. And don't forget to share this story with someone who always says, it's nothing, because sometimes it's not nothing at all. This is the Dark Brief. And remember, the scariest moments are the ones that feel completely normal until they're not.